Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Channing Unitarian Universalist Church. Glad you joined us for worship today. Whoever you are, whatever your theological, spiritual, political, sexual, or racial orientation, or gender identity, you're welcome to worship here as part of this community. Before we go into the announcements, Judy wanted to lead us through a prayer real quick.
Not so much a prayer as yet another moment of silent tragic reflection. Yet another shooting has happened in this country. We are not helpless, although it feels that way. As long as you can write your name on a petition, you can make a donation to something, some cause, some action. You can make a difference. That's why you're sitting here today, because Unitarians and Universalists make a difference. It's in our DNA, and if it isn't what we were born, we develop it through our commitment to our values and our principles. So may I ask you now to join together in tragic and prayerful silence, in hoping whatever thoughts you need to hold, families have been devastated, for the inaction that continues to be inaction. And for you to find, for us to find some way to make that difference. May we be quiet tonight. Holy One of all creation, help us find a way through this. Amen.
Are there any announcements this morning? Julie?
That's many, I'll try and keep it short. First, pledge month is over. Thank you to everybody who pledged. I think Lauren will have a final meeting probably today, and then I'll have candy and everything the next time we're together. If you still want to submit a pledge form, you still can. That like never ends. We will always accept pledge forms. The last count, we were pretty close to our goals. Thank you, everybody. We're also still accepting donations for the plexiglass. We also will have a raffle about that, and Aaron has the details in a second. But we have raised a fair bit to start the plexiglass. Saturday is the coffee house. It starts at 7:30. The doors open at 7. If you want to volunteer, please let me know or to show up. Otherwise, come and enjoy a night of free entertainment. We have a budget meeting today. That's kind of important. Not forget that one. I think that's it.
Oh, and the name tags?
The name tags, thank you. We're gonna be redesigning our name tags. So there's a sign-up sheet in the foyer and on the coffee hour table. So you can write down your name, how you want it to be on the name tag. And there's also a place where you can mark which pronouns you'd like listed on the name tags, if any. You can select none if you don't want any pronouns on there. But if you please fill that out, I'm hoping to have them in time for our annual meeting in a few weeks.
Any other announcements? Aaron, choose first.
Like Julie said, we have ballet ticket raffle going on. So if you'd like to see me after service, you can purchase tickets, and money for that will go towards the like. It'll be Sleeping Beauty, and it's June 3rd. So you can see me after the service to purchase tickets. And also the plant sale is coming up on the 20th. So we'd like a lot of volunteers for that. We have donations that you'd like to bring from your own garden, or we'd like to pick some up from other companies around. We can get you in touch with that. And also the day of, we'll need people to bring plants out to purchase a car. You can see you for that. And also the Norwell Union Church is having a dinner this Tuesday. It's community dinner, it's free. It's mac and cheese. It's a good way to connect with our fellow unions. And after the free dinner is talk on gun violence. So that's this Tuesday, the 9th, and it's 5 o'clock, and they are asking for RSVPs because they have limited spaces. So you can connect with me and point you in.
Danny?
On the table in Shin Bowl there's some scallions that people want to take some. Just took them out of the garden last night. And over.
Yeah, stop. Any other announcements? And I will turn the floor back over to Dr. Reverend Judy Cannon.
Because I'm going to be talking about our Unitarian Universalist roots today, I want to open our service with a call to worship from the Reverend Elek Redsi from Romania, Transylvania, Romania, that I had the pleasure to meet several years ago when he invited me to give a lecture at the Protestant Theological Seminary. Holy One of creation, who is not far from any one of us, but nearer and more present to our souls and our own bodies. Teach us day by day to love our neighbors as ourselves, and to serve one another in love. Let love be the strong link between person and person, between nation and nation, between religion and religion. May we believe in the glory of love on the earth, which is our home. Help us to live by faith. Give us love to show our faith by our works, that those we meet may honor your holiness, your providence, which never fails. In all that we do, in all of our work, make us seemly, make us diligent, make us worthy. May we never forget the kindness that surrounds us in the present, nor be careless of the treasures we have inherited from the past, but having a lively sense of our debt to our brothers and sisters, and a loving remembrance of departed generations, may we reverently carry forward the work of the ages, even unto this day, and unto the next, and the next after that. Amen, and may it be so. Stand as we light our chalice, which we willing and able, and the chalice lighting reading is in your order response. Each of the stars in heaven is unique, individual, yet together. Each of our clear is unique, an individual, and together we are creation. Each of our creation is unique, and yet together we are God, God, people.
Now the affirmation. Love is serve. And serve well together. The end and the loss.
Before we sing our opening hymn today, which is number 138, I want to welcome what's your name? Barbara. Barbara, I want to thank you so much for coming today and being part of us and being so willing to step in. Thank you so much. Make sure you all give her a lovely chanting and thank you so much. Our opening hymn is number 138. You're going to sing the first 3 verses. These things become me. we have time for. And those of us who are younger than some of us, I should honor the state in the front row. Sit in the front row, please. Here's my basket with the curiosities. That's already excited. I have papers in it. And this talk this morning is about signs. This is a sign. What does it mean? Come say it.
Stop.
Louder.
Stop.
Yep. This is a sign.
Community. Okay.
This is a sign. What does it mean?
Hi. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Okay. This is a sign. What does it represent?
So,
Absolutely right. The start, it's a G flat, it's the start of the song on the upper line. Thank you, you're right. Thank you. This is one you should probably all know. What's that? It's like a name. It's okay. Hey. He's the one. You all know this. Most of you should know that one. We
Yay.
this word. Beware. Beware. Caution.
Preserve is all.
Okay. This is one I think we all know. 1, 2, 3, say it all together. 1, 2, 3.
Money.
Need to give it away. Okay. I'm going to show you. I'm going to point to the symbol this time. What's this one? And our Christian friends use this as a symbol for their faith. A lot of Christian people will actually wear a cross around their necks. You know, people who sometimes wear a cross around their neck. Yeah, I do too. What's this one?
Jewish.
You're right. Star David. And what religious group does this represent? The Jewish tradition. Yes. And what is this? One shirt. It's our church. It's the flaming chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. For some, it's the light of truth. For some, it's the light of hope. For all of us around the world, it's a symbol of who we are. Now, I don't know how many of you know the history of this. And some of you do, and some of you don't, but bear with me if I'm being. A long time ago, there was a Catholic priest named Jan Hus, who decided he really didn't like the idea that only priests could receive Holy Communion. And he opened his pulpit, his altar, and let everybody in the church have not only the bread, but the wine in a Christian tradition. And that was, you let ordinary people participate in the sacrament when it's supposed to be just, we holy of holies, the priest. He said, yep. And they really didn't like him very much. But he created a symbol of his own with the chalice, with a flame. Later, this particular symbol got taken up by our own Unitarian Universalist Service Committee in the time of World War II. And in World War II, some really awful things were happening. People, particularly the Jewish people, gypsies, anybody that the Nazis in Germany didn't like, were being arrested, imprisoned, and sometimes killed. But the Unitarian Universalists, our service committee, were over there working. And one of the things they did was to take the symbol of the flaming chalice and use it as a sign for a safe house. So if you were a safe house, or you were a safe house where you welcomed people running from the Nazis, you put the flaming chalice up on your window, full sticker, or you draw it in the dirt outside your house, or maybe scratch it in a piece of chalk in the front step. And that way, it's like the Underground Railroad, people taking all that people knew that this was a safe house. This was a safe house. So this is a very, very proud symbol we have of our church. I'm really proud of it. And this one, because artists like to take symbols and play with them, this one that I wear mostly is a goddess figure in the shape of a chalice, holding up a flame of truth. Now, one more thing for you guys. Do you know how to make a chalice off of your own? Your hands? You done it before? Okay, put your 2 hands out like this. Flat as you can make them. You can bring your 2 wrists together. Now put one thumb on top of the other. Do you see the chalice? Your thumb is at the flame. One thumb on top of the other. Okay. And open it out so it's nice and warm. Okay. This is who we are. And sometimes you just go, I know who you are. Thank you very much. It's time for our candidate concern. Now the time in our order of service in our order of service and as a community, when we bring forward our joys and our concerns. Sometimes we speak them in words, and sometimes we simply light a candle in silence. And sometimes we use this time just to hold those joyful words in our heart and just be with that feeling. Is there someone who has a joy or concern? And if you're speaking from there, you have to speak up loudly. Because I have very old ears. What's your joy?
So actually, yesterday was my 10th time in a row. My baseball team won a game.
Yeah.
Kindle concern, my father-in-law Gary, who just got out of the hospital with kidney stones.
Our addition is finally done. No more construction workers.
Roy, from my family and husband's, who is doing beautifully with this knee surgery, and I decided to let him say it. Start again. Would you like one of the here to go to his birth? Oh, that's good. I'm sorry.
Roll the stand.
Yeah, no, of abject sorrow and frustration. In Texas, again. Anger. That is a really angry.
My nephew Cody is seems to graduate high school last year, is now graduating college. Clarkson University in New York State, engineering degree. And so we doing all right.
Candle of Joy for our Art Bloom, that was presented in the Arts Festival this week. And I think Julie has some information that may be going on tomorrow on time. It was beautiful in the hallway. It's
already been.
Paul. Have two. I have been unemployed since January, but I got a job offer last week that I accepted. So. Right. And another one, the joy for officially welcoming school members today.
I have a concern with all the gun violence in our country, but also just all of the wars that are raging throughout the world. We hear a lot about Ukraine and Russia, but there's so many other places. And it's so sad that we're still, in our modern era, still having to fight each other.
I'd like the candle, the light, to be held by people in their grief and their anger, that we can hold them as well.
Church of Easter, very young mother, and Kelly. Very serious problem issues, literally putting her in hospital bed, and she was so much pain on her hand that she could not move, literally could not move and get out of bed. Pretty much went for 6 months and they lost hope. She had a little 4-year-old boy who was kind of left on his own with people trying to care for him. And I asked the congregation to pray for Kelly for a miracle at Easter. Happens to be when it did happen. And the Monday after Easter, she was able to get out of bed, which was a miracle, and she was able to go home in a hospital bed to be with her son. And that was very miraculous and beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Miracles do still happen. They do. We have a lot of joy and a lot of concern. That's what we're here for, to share this. Would you like one more candle? Those joyful concerns that we hold in our hearts. And I ask Barbara to play Spirit of Life, and if you wish to sing along as prayer or listen, what's the number? 123. I should know that. Whatever service will we share or our own treasure for the work of this community.
Please stand as you're willing and able for the.
Why are you, parentheses, who are we, and why? A lot of people would like to dismiss Unitarian Universalists as the people who can believe anything they want. It's a lazy man's religion, the religion that will take you in when nobody else wants you. That is so not good. In the same vein, I can't begin to tell you how many times I've had to give this very sermon, or the short one, to my interfaith clergy buddies who haven't a clue theologically about how I live into my faith and how we youths live into our denomination. They're supposed to take one religion in seminary. I'll be quiet. But seriously, how have you ever tried to tell someone who asks about our chosen faith, who we are, what we are, how and why we are? In our attempts to define what we believe in, we'll often start with the negatives of our belief system, what we don't believe in. For example, we don't accept the doctrine of the Trinity. We don't believe in original sin. We do believe Jesus to be a good man and a profound teacher, but we believe him to be a human man who came into this earth in the usual way. We think he was a really good man who lived and died in his early 30s and did not come back to life. Okay, we have a name and a history, but that still doesn't say what we do believe. What do you and we, members of this congregation, this church, believe about the nature of the holy and the meaning of life? What do you personally believe in? It would be interesting if we all took a pencil and wrote down some of the things we believe in, or we have faith in. What would you write down? Some of you might write the word God. Others would say, God who? Others might write the word love. But love what? Do you use love as a noun or a verb? Love needs an object or an adjective in a sentence. And in our lives as well, for it to have any meaning or any power. But let's go back to the beginnings of our present-day Unitarian Universalism. If you do that, you'll find 4 major threads that trace doctrinal roots, ultimately back to the 3rd century of the Common Era and the Council of Nicaea. The grand meeting, the original committee meeting, okay, the grand meeting of the, the grand meeting of the early Christians was called to decide the future and direction of the rapidly growing Jesus movement. The big argument back there in Nicaea was, is God a standalone and Jesus nothing more than a godlike human being? Or is God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit all manifestations of the one God? And therefore Jesus, as a part of this Trinity, is considered to be divine. The Christian Trinitarians won the argument, but the God as just one people, the Arians, did not lose the war. And the doctrinal argument of God is one versus God is three continues among some religious philosophers even unto this day. But we didn't get a proper name until over 1,000 years. Unitarianism as a religious movement grew out of the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century of the Common Era. It started in Poland and Transylvania in the 1560s and was recognized as a freestanding religion in Transylvania within 10 years of that. The first time we had a name, Unitarian, one God, was in Transylvania. Then it was a separate country. In the late 1500s, when King Sigismund issued the Freedom of Religious Practice Edict, he decreed that while all his people must profess and practice a religion in their daily lives, the choice was their own. Big news. Transylvanians could legally be Lutheran, Roman Catholic, Unitarian, or Jewish. But by law, there had to be something. Transylvanian Unitarianism to this day is Christocentric, meaning that they follow the teachings of Jesus. Church services and sermons are scripture-based. They do not believe in original sin. When a child is born, the baby is brought to the church to be blessed by all and welcomed into the community. They do not believe that Jesus was resurrected from the dead, but on Easter, they celebrate the resurrection of Jesus' spirit in their hearts and in their community, and rededicate themselves to the ideals that the man Jesus set forward for us. Another root of our chosen faith goes back to England. In England, Unitarian ideas were being discussed in the mid and first Unitarian congregation that came into being in 1774 at Essex Chapel in London. It was founded by a former Church of England minister, Theophilus Lindsay, who just couldn't square his sense of reason with what the church was saying people had to believe. Other notable English Unitarians were scientist Joseph Priestley and Josiah Wedgwood, the founder of the Wedgwood Pottery Empire in Staffordshire, England. And B, I think I probably said this, but I'll say it again. I preached in the very church where Wedgwood attended and later endowed. Stepping out of the script for a minute, I had a house guest for the last almost 2 weeks, dear friend from England, who brought me into that church. And I was saying to her something about Wedgwood being there. And she said, well, it's a new church. I said, what do you mean it's a new church? She said, well, it was built in the 1600s. It's a new church. This is England, not America. Oh, yes. North America, here in North America, we have about 225,000 Unitarian Universalists in the US and Canada, and about 1,000 congregations. The North American version of UUism has much in common with the UK version, but includes additional ideas brought in when the Universalist Church of America, founded in 1790, and the American Unitarian Association, founded in 1825, merged in 1961 to form the Unitarian Universalist Association. The North American Church has for many decades been much more humanist than Unitarian churches elsewhere in the world, meaning rather than ask God for anything or look to God, the idea of God for help, that all we have that we need is within us, and it is up to us as a special spiritual community to develop ourselves and our community to its fullest potential. Recently, however, there has been a movement in the Unitarian Universalist Association to be more accepting of what former President William Sinkford calls the language of reverence. And I remember I was at GA when he used those words, and I thought, thank you. I don't want to have to apologize if I use the word God. And and this is an aside, when we Unitarian clergy enjoy freedom of the pulpit, once we accept the responsibility of standing in the pulpit, we have to be respectful of what we say, but you can't tell us what to say and what not to say. And so I ran into some problems when I was candidating in Martha's Vineyard Church, and one of the folks said, "We notice you use God a lot in your worship services. Should you want to continue to do that if we hire you?" And I said, "If you hire me, you give me the right and the privilege and the honor of a free pulpit. I will not stuff God language down your throats, but nor will I give up my language of reverence. You choose." They chose me. Although the American Unitarians did abandon the doctrine of the Trinity, in so doing, they gave greater importance to moving to a religion based on reason and adopting, and I've highlighted this in yellow, a hopeful view of human nature, rather than seeing humanity as fallen and sinful. And this is not to say bad things about the Episcopal Church, but I was raised in Episcopalian, and in one of the creeds of belief, we are supposed to say, "I am the most miserable sinner, and there is no help in me." And even at 13 years old, I said, "That's not me. I'm not a miserable sinner, and there is help in me." And that was the beginning of my separation from that kind of, we are grounded in sin. Another one of our deeply ingrained historical roots is the freedom of choice in religious practice. In the age of enlightenment, more and more people were not willing to be told what to believe in the very personal matter of religious faith. and began to turn to science rather than faith for answers to the big questions. American Unitarianism and American Universalism expanded our vision of the sacred through the works of the Transcendentalists. These men, they were mostly men, of the earth called us to embrace the idea that God, or however you understand the sacred in your life, can be found everywhere in your daily life, not just at religious meetings. These people left the closed-up, straight-back churches and went outdoors under the sky and the trees by the flowing waters of the natural world to experience the holy. And I've asked Rick to read a poem not by Thoreau or Emerson, but by John Ruskin, who was alive at the same time, and it's about the nature, the spiritual nature, the religious nature of nature.
Come in. All are welcome. There is religion in everything around us, a calm and holy religion in the unbreathing things of nature. It is a meek and blessed influence, stealing in as it were unaware upon the heart. It comes quickly, without excitement. It has no terror, no gloom. It does not rouse up the passions. It is untrammeled by creeds. It is written on the arched sky. It looks out from every star. It is on the sailing cloud and in the invisible wind. It is among the hills and valleys of the earth, where the shrubbless mountaintop pierces the thin atmosphere of eternal winter, or where the mighty forest fluctuates before the strong wind with its dark waves of green foliage. It is spread out like a legible language upon the broad face of an unsleeping ocean. It is the poetry of nature. It is that which uplifts the spirit within us and which opens to our imagination a world of spiritual beauty and holiness.
I've been using that prayer poem for all of the years of my ministry because it speaks so much. And I've got 2 copies up here if somebody wants a copy, or email me and I'll send it to you. Faith is a very strong word, and by its nature implies commitment to a cause or an idea. Not too many people these days are comfortable with commitment. But whether we admit it or not, most of us do have some kind of faith, or would like to. Let me tell you something, a secret perhaps. If you want to have faith in something, first you need to decide what it is, and then go about the work of commitment to believing in it. That's me speaking. But this is what Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of the Transcendentalists, had to say on the matter. Emerson's words. A person will worship something. Have no doubt about that. We may think our tribute is paid in secret in the dark recesses of our hearts, but it will come out. That which dominates our imaginations and our thoughts will determine our lives and our characters. I would say it again. That which dominates our imaginations and our thoughts will determine our lives and our character. Therefore, it behooves us to be careful what we worship. What we are worshiping, we are becoming. Parallel to that, a minister friend of mine used to say, show me your checkbook and I'll tell you what you worship. Anyway. But back to where I started. What do you believe? And if we don't know exactly what to believe, how do we go about finding it? You're here, aren't you? You use in our 7 principles, commit to a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We commit to respect for the earth and all sentient living beings pertaining thereto, my unit. And there's more. If you ask me what I, as a UU minister, believe, I might write something like this. I believe in the worth and dignity of all living things. I believe in the power of forgiveness to heal hearts on both sides of a transgression. On both sides of a transgression. I have faith in the power of love to change lives and to cast out fear. I have faith in the power of one single person to make a difference, even a very little one, in the whole world. I have faith in the resilience of the human spirit to rise again after tragedy. I have faith in the power of laughter to lift the human spirit and the power of prayer to comfort and heal. I have faith in the right of a religious congregation to make their own decisions about how they celebrate the events and gifts of life. If I asked you to write down what you believed or what you had faith in, what would you write? Where would you start? But that's why we're here, isn't it? To test the spiritual waters and spread out our still damp wings before we lift off, and to undertake this quest in the company of like-minded others, with the support of the church and its congregation. I have unquestioning faith in the power of a restless, questioning, searching, argumentative, wonderful religious community. I have faith in their ability to stick together and work together and keep on asking hard questions, even though we always seem to get different answers, but manage to continue to love each other anyway. That's my Unitarian Universalism. What is, or what will be, yours. Blessed be. Amen. And now, the best part of today, we are going to ask, I'm going to let Rick and Julie handle this because you've done this before.
So we're gonna do two parts. The first part will be for everyone who wishes to recommit their membership to the church, may line up and add their names to the book. And then after that's all, we've done that, and we're gonna call up the new members by name to sign up as members. All right, and now we will, by name, welcome up each of the new members. This is in no particular order, so I'm going to call you last, the best or the worst. To start, Mike Helby. Sandy Helby. Jean Turner. Oh, I thought it said June, I'm sorry. I'm on some allergy meds, so I might be snoring. And Susan Erickson.
And I would like to add my name as an affiliate member of this church.
Welcome to our new members.
When I was ordained, I had clergy of any number of denominations. Very secret and wonderful opportunity. But one of my best clergy buddies was Father Smith, Paul Smith, from St. Helens Church in Norwell. And the church, first of all, they sent me the biggest bouquet of flowers I've ever seen in my life. It was, I mean, you could ride the thing, it was something. It was so beautiful from him and the members of St. Helens, because we were very, in Norwell, we were very tight integrated each group. And so I asked him to be one of the speakers because I very much have an interfaith commitment. Very much of a commitment to interfaith work, worship, understanding. So you have to picture Paul. Irishman, a twin from South Boston, had a beer belly up to here. Had played golf in the sun, so he was red-faced, and he didn't suffer fools lightly. So he came up to the pulpit He leaned over, I'm sitting with the ordinance has nothing to do except sit there and listen. So I'm sitting there listening. He leaned over the front and said, "Hey there, Tiger. You know what you just got yourself into?" Anyway, to those of us who have come today, welcome. You joined a pretty wonderful family. And I chose to do what I did today because I'm an affiliate member at Martha's Vineyard Church, Martha's. And I want to deepen my commitment to you folks. So I want to send them today too. So this is a really good day. As we say, no, look at it. Our closing evening is one of my absolute favorites. I'm full of stories today. We're going to sing the first, number 170. We are in the middle. Before we sing it, I want to get what I'm saying. Many years ago, I was my daughter-in-law, my younger daughter-in-law's sister, came out as being gay. And the family was having trouble with it, but they loved their daughter and they loved their sister. So, but they had to adjust to a new identity for this woman. And it wasn't always easy for her. And so one day I drug her off to church in the Norwell church. And we sang this hymn because I was doing the order of service and I made sure that this was going to be part of it. And I said, without saying it, later on, I got to marry her and her wife in her sister's living room, just a parasol, sorry, most beautiful family service. And so proud as a Unitarian Universalist we could do this. We were the first. Anyway, we are a gentle, angry people. Look at those words and sing them with pride. Which was the guy who was titled To Live Deliberately, and it's number 660 in the back. You can know what you want to do or follow along. In fact, let's do that. Just change it. Open your inbox, please. 660. Let's read this as a response to reading. You read the italics already, bold. Why should we live in such a hurry and waste of life? We are determined. I wish to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life.
I wish.
I do not wish to live what is not life. Living is so dear.
Nor do I wish to practice resignation.
I wish to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life.
I want to cut out small to try.
If it proves to be mean, then to get the whole and genuine nature of meanness and publish its meanness to the world.
Or if it is blind, no Christ.
Or if it is sublime, to know it by experience, and to be able to give a true account of it. Go in peace, my friends. Amen.